Oh, you graduated the same year I did.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, 2016.
16.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, I actually went to basic training right after that for the army. So you're probably 1 year ahead in terms of more experience.
Yeah, no, makes sense. That's fine. Um, okay. So, hmm, like the impression I get from you, at
Yeah,
least from this, is like you're mid-level. You're not senior. It seems like the work
yeah,
here is pretty standard. At
uh,
Teradata.
yeah,
Um, you are actively participating in architecture and design discussion for new features. Sure, I think that's
uh,
pretty standard for anyone writing, but like who is actively coding. This doesn't seem like it's
yeah,
very special. It doesn't show. Okay, so the interesting part here, the one thing I see
yeah,
is leading a team of 9 developers
yeah.
as a team ambassador within an agile environment to strengthen communication between developers, project managers, set goals for the team, and communicate with external stakeholders. That basically tells
Uh,
me, okay, they might be thinking about you for a senior position.
uh,
Just tell me a little bit more about this.
we have so the team started out as one team, right? And then
Mhm.
as we got more and more people, we ended up having like more than 15 people, and one team was not going to be sustainable, and
Mhm.
especially if you want to follow agile, right?
Mhm.
So what they did was we have a team lead who's my mentor,
Mhm.
but we decided to split the teams into two separate teams
Mhm.
and not have team leads for each of the teams. So we're still going to keep the team lead as the person who's like the the overall advisor in terms of technical stuff. And
Okay.
each team now is going to have a team ambassador. It's something that they've made up, uh, and I didn't get a raise for it. So, but basically, what the team lead does is that uh, we're the channel that communicate between the managers and the developers. So if or the POs, right? So if the PO says, "Hey, next quarter or next month, we want to plan these things out.
Mhm.
Can you figure it out with your team?" Then I would bring it to the developers and say, "Okay, hey, we gotta have these features get going. Let's see, who wants to take care of this, the story pointed and stuff like that." So that's
Mhm.
one responsibility. The other is at the end of each sprint review, I have to present all the features to the stakeholders and receive any feedback they have, turn that into Jira. So those are so it's basically like an extra duty on top of being a developer.
I see. Okay, because okay, yeah. So my thinking was correct. So you are taking a little bit of leadership responsibilities here. That's fine.
Mm.
Um, you're correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels
Uh-huh.
more like your where you want to go with your career is you want to actually be more like a manager than a developer.
No, that's not what I want to do.
Okay,
No.
interesting. Because your resume definitely feels a little bit definitely started gearing more towards that, but I could be just wrong. Only because
Should
I
I
see
take that off? Yeah.
no, 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 no. It's fine because you should there's like different kinds of senior developers, but so I'll explain. Like I am a senior developer at
Yeah.
and so one of the things that we do is actually stuff like this. We do like a lot of cross team communication,
Uh,
communicate with the stakeholders, making sure that the people who are working with us, especially if they're lower engineers, fully understand the design
yeah.
and work with them to make sure that they understand what needs to be done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of more managerial responsibilities, but seeing it this early, um, it kind of was giving me some hints that you might be interested in that. But if that's fine, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's also the second thing is also that you mostly just talk about pretty standard stuff like this test-driven development here.
Yeah.
That's pretty standard during development. So I mean that's fine.
Yeah.
It's like, but it doesn't like tell me anything about you as a developer. That makes sense because
Gotcha. Because everyone does it.
yeah, it's like it's pretty standard practice. So it doesn't tell me
Yeah.
like what your impact is on the work that you're doing. Maintains continuous pipeline using Jenkins. Okay, yeah, you have a build engine, you have a build system. That's fine. To run tests
Uh,
automatically and stabilize production code. Okay, that's cool. But then it just all these things, they don't tell me really your impact as a developer. Like these two up here tell me your impact as a lead and a manager sort of style, but it
Uh-huh.
doesn't tell me your impact as a developer, which is that's why I was getting that signal.
I
Most
see.
people,
I see.
you don't really have a problem with your resume writing because you've already been through like a resume reviews and whatever, so you already know
Uh-huh.
what to look for. It's just that here your problem just is the signal I'm getting from your
Yeah.
work here.
So, for example, 'cause I'm having trouble highlighting, my personal impact. So, if you look at like projects, right?
Mm-hmm.
That project is the project I'm working on in the company.
Mm-hmm.
And there, I think I did a little better in terms of like the direct impact. I reduced the maximum memory usage by 89%. Um,
Uh-huh.
I automated pre-upgrade and post-upgrade checks. So are the things, is this what you mean by, okay, what's your direct impact? Or, because like if you
Yeah.
think about yeah,
Mhm. I was gonna say
right?
because these were listed under projects, they're usually assumed to be done on your own time and
Ah,
outside of work. So if this is what
gotcha.
you're trying to sell for your work experience, move it up.
Yeah,
So let's actually go through this. Design. I'll go through the rest of your work experience and then go back to projects.
yeah, yeah.
Um, create scripts to automatic stack traces from customers to in-house systems. Okay, fine. Definitely would like to see some kind of impact here if applicable. If not, it's okay.
Did I say that again? Sorry, your voice was
Some
cut
kind of
off.
result.
Oh, result. Okay.
It's like, yeah, you create scripts to automatically collect stack traces. That's fine. But then it's like,
Like
I guess I kind of
how did
understand
that?
why we need it. I understand why we need it,
Yeah.
but it's just like there needs. I'm not feeling an if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like, by doing that, like, how much money did you save or how much
Hmm.
impact did you have? That's what you're referring to, right?
Yeah, not just the business impact, but it could be like developer impact as well. Did you save time? Yeah. So
Gotcha.
create knowledge articles. I'm okay with that. That's fine. So that's like that's a technical writing sort of thing.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it. Um,
yeah.
implement a feature to automatically assign private chefs to customer and reduce the processing time to a few seconds. Would be good if this is quantifiable.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if there's a way to measure that. How would you go about it? So this was an internship project.
Uh-huh.
And they used to have somebody manually in the office assigning, like, so this is a private chef, lending company
Mm-hmm.
for mostly like people in Beverly Hills or whatever, the rich people.
Yeah.
And there was somebody in the office, like manually, when they get a call or get a query, they would assign it themselves. But then I basically put those guys out of the job by having a automatic, there's some SQL query stuff that automatically assigns, whoever's free or whoever doesn't have a schedule. How would you
Uh-huh.
quantify this? Like, should I look at how many hours they worked on? And
Yeah, you could say you save man hours, but I definitely
yeah.
wouldn't say I got a bunch of people fired.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But
But
I,
yeah,
I want to
saving man
have
hours
like a
is fine.
quantify. Yeah, I want to have quantified like how many hours did I actually save? How much money did I actually save? These are the things I
Mhm.
can't really have a hands-on because especially they don't track the data,
That's fine.
you know?
So then the next thing we could do is just say what exactly the results of your action were. So instead of saying the processing time to a few seconds, you could say um, something like, and eliminated the need for manual input
Yeah,
or
gotcha.
something like that.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're
Yeah,
saying. Makes
so
sense.
it's like you optimize one part of the whole flow of the workflow.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine. People understand that what's it called? That there is a business impact to that because
Yeah.
automating something is cheaper than to manually do it. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you improve them. That is a optimization of the workflow. That's fine.
Gotcha.
Um,
Makes sense.
okay, design and implemented a web-based experience called Scrabble using I don't what Scrabble makes it sound like it's a game.
Yeah. So this was back in the UCSD days. The professor wanted to test like his theory on. So he's a cog science professor, and he wanted to write a paper and do an experiment about how randomness, improves our creativity.
Okay.
So he was using this game called Scrabble, and like we would manipulate the way it presents in terms of the random letters. Like if we throw based on the randomness of the letters they get, like
Hmm.
can they see a new word, or so that was the way they track creativity. And he wanted some kind of web-based platform that that resembles Scrabble and have people play it. So it
Yeah,
was just
so
a
I would.
yeah
This thing is not very. It throws me off. So I mean, I get what you're saying. It's like
yeah
you're implementing code to test an experiment for a lab. I'm okay with that.
yeah
But I would definitely reword it.
yeah.
It's like
How would you word it?
design and implement a web-based experiment. For research, design and
Uh-huh.
implement a web-based experiment to facilitate research or something.
I see
Something
what
with
you
research.
I see what you're saying.
And maybe you can link to like the paper as well.
Yeah. I mean, is that even worth putting it in there? Now I'm questioning, should I even keep that in my resume, or does that matter? It's just a
I think it.
it's been
I
like
think it's okay
six.
because. Sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's been 5 years and research assistant, like is it really relevant to uh, the current job position and stuff like that?
It really depends on like your real estate space and what you want, what kind of stuff you want to show that has impact, shows who you are as a developer. Because when I read resumes, I'm reading what is this guy trying to tell me? What is his story as a professional developer? Who do I? How do I want to remember this? And your job is really to make a compelling story with your work
Yeah.
history. So it's like, who am I? Who is? What does he offer the company? How will he work on my team? What is his strengths? What is his weakness? I want to be able to read that story very easily. I don't want to have to, dig through all your work experience in order to try and find the answer.
We got it.
So again, that kind of goes back to the whole, well, your latest work showed me, oh, he might be a manager or a people's person. That might actually get you somewhere, actually. Don't get me wrong, because there's a lot of people out there, like especially senior developers, who have no ability to work with people.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I've failed so many good developers only because they were being a total ass during the interview.
Like to the interviewer.
Yeah, me. I was
Oh
interviewing
wow.
them.
And then
They were
like
like,
they were.
like at Apple, we
Yeah.
interview the people we're going to hire.
Yeah.
So it would probably be in their best interest to, be able to accept feedback and be at least somewhat polite. But
But they were like defending they were being defensive about just the feedback and stuff
overly
like that.
so.
I see.
Overly so, yeah.
I see.
No,
Yeah, I
but that
mean,
was a tangent.
we all have that as a developer, right? Sometimes, especially when you go through a code review, it hurts. I'm not gonna lie. When somebody says, "Hey, this shit sucks. It's not gonna work," then part of myself it hurts. But that's just part of, for me, that's just part of the growth. To be able to accept that and grow up, and and they're not. It's not. So one thing I noticed or understand now is that none of that is personal, right?
Hmm.
And all of us, we have the same goal of releasing our product quality and
Hmm.
be bettering ourselves in terms of skills. And so yeah, I get it. But I get it when somebody gets overly defensive about their code, and they get butthurt, and
Yeah.
it's something I don't want to see. But at the same time, I understand where they're coming from, and it's just part of what we do.
Hmm. I mean, that's a sign of a young developer anyway.
Yeah.
You just get, it's just, you get used to it. It's like, it's for me now. I just see it as like, ah, fuck, I fucked up. Fine, let me go over again.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a look at your projects here because I think this is the meat of your resume. Okay,
Yeah, I
so
think I'm
design
gonna
and
move
implement.
that up.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
just this one thing. I think just move it up there.
Uh-huh.
It's just yeah, and as far as the research assistant goes, definitely, definitely, it's if you feel like it adds to your story as a developer, then you should
Yep.
leave it. You should leave it in there. Otherwise, don't. At this
I
point
honestly
in
put
your
it there
career, you should have
because
plenty of things.
yeah, I honestly put it there just to fill it up. I don't think it has any value to the story or the goal I'm trying to go for. So yeah, I think I'm gonna probably take that off.
Okay, so then let's move on.
Uh-huh.
Design and implement a feature to download and install packages on multiple systems in parallel using Python. Sure.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Automatically pre-grade and post-grade upgrade checks using Python to reduce time from hours to minutes. Okay, that's fine. Reduce the maximum memory usage of the tool by 89% in order to minimize impact. Yeah, I think the moment you say memory optimization, I think that it's already self-contained.
Meaning, what do you mean? Self-contained.
Like, it's pretty obvious to most people when you say you improve memory usage of
Yeah.
a system. Like,
Uh-huh.
it's not necessary. I'm not gonna say that it's bad what you wrote here. It's just like, it's just something worth noting that this may not be necessary, but it's fine if you're just trying to fill out real estate space. I'm okay with it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Like when you say you reduce the memory, like it's pretty obvious that what kind of impact it had, or you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like I don't necessarily have to highlight that it minimized the impact on customer system. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I'm fine with it. Don't get me wrong. It's just
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
for me, it's just like I kind of already know what to expect. So, create
Got it.
change control workflows with ServiceNow to fully automate the process. Change control workflow. What exactly do you mean?
Change. So yeah, maybe that's something I should add in here. Change control means anything that we have to make a change in a customer system, right? So if the customer wants to upgrade their version of our tool, they need to go through a change control. If they want to delete something, if they want to add some tool to their system, Teradata, tool, then they have to go through a change control system. So this change control process right now is like about 50-page Word document that somebody has to manually go through.
Mm-hmm.
They have to like go through these procedures, pre-checks, make the change, go through the post-checks, make sure everything works fine, take it out of the maintenance window and the customer system is back up. So that's what a change control is. And we are essentially using this tool called ServiceNow to automate the entire procedure. So 50-page Word document into a click.
Mm-hmm. So definitely sell that idea.
Uh-huh.
Eliminate the need for manual input. It's like same as before.
Same as what?
The same as before as above. With the big city
Yeah.
chefs,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
you eliminate the need for manual stuff.
Got it.
Implement a RESTful API to deploy and configure enterprise database in cloud. Okay, that's fine. Deploy and configure enterprise database. Okay.
I mean,
Honestly, I'm
Teradata,
gonna
yeah. Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Say.
I say go ahead. You were saying something.
Oh, no, I was going to, no, the enterprise database is a Teradata database, is what I was saying.
Oh, I see. Mm, okay. This is initiated code refactor. Okay. Here's the tricky thing about refactors.
Yeah.
This one is that you can reduce the code base size down to 9%, down to 9%. Like you buy 9% or 9% of the original.
The duplication was down to 9%.
What percentage of the code base was duplicated?
This was, I don't remember, dude, but I think it was at least It was bad, man. I think it was based on the clone digger tool. I think it was close to 50% initially.
Oof.
Yeah.
So maybe change this number down to changing the code base size if you have the numbers for that. Or you
Okay.
can make it approximated too. Like you have, 100,000 lines of code and you brought it down to 50,000, like 20,000 lines or something. Then the second thing about refactoring is that, well, that's great. You refactor the code base, but then what is the impact? Because like to us developers, it's very easy for us to
Yeah.
understand what the
Yeah.
impact of a refactor is.
Yeah.
To someone reading the resume, the refactor can be like anything because I don't know how big or small this feature is. I don't know what project is. I assume it's the entire enterprise database or something like that.
Yeah.
And I need to know, well, great, you did this refactor. What was the point?
Hmm.
It's like I need to care about the fact that you're refactoring. It's like, did it save us developer time? Did it save us money? Did it clean up any bugs? Like I did something very similar to what you did.
Yeah.
The only thing I added was, oh yeah, well, along the way, I was able to clean up 30% of our bug queue as well.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
It's like, and I made our platform testable, and paved the way for more stable code. After this release, this was a major feature. Our rating and the App Store went up 0.3 stars from 3.7 to 4, that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
So like the way I can show you my resume after, but
Yeah.
essentially what I'm doing here is demonstrating that the refactor I did has impact. It's not just like moving code around.
Right. It's not, you're not saying I just did it for the sake of refactoring. Like it actually had impact.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
So create Ansible scripts to configure deployment and test systems. I mean, it's just like, is there some,
General.
like, why should I care? Let me put it that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Like what impacted it? So it looks like what we're looking for mostly is what kind of impact did it have and why should I care?
Mm-hmm.
Right. If
Exactly.
it's too like generic that something that everybody else does, then why should I care?
Exactly.
Right? Is that the right question to ask?
Yeah, in the context, like, if you're a student and you have experience with like test-driven development, Jenkins build systems, that's one thing. But you've been in the
Yeah.
industry for a while, so I'm
Yeah.
expecting something else.
Got it.
Worked on the networking team to create a 4-person online wrestling match. Cool. That's a cool game.
Yep.
Use the server and client RTC to minute staff. That's like general, vague.
Yeah. Yep.
I think the
I
idea of like
agree.
expanding on what you worked on with games is actually something worth doing because especially if you worked on like an engine or something, because that shit needs to be bulletproof. I think you can actually
Mhm.
extract a whole lot more from this experience than you think.
Yeah.
So what I would do
Uh,
is
no, so this was a basically project at UCSD, and I honestly don't know what I did, man. Like, and that's probably the same for the rest of us. We somehow came up with this, but like most of it was lots of Stack Overflow and library. Somehow we put something together that actually works, but I don't have a deep understanding on this. So that's maybe I should go back and maybe try to see what I actually did,
Mhm.
and in terms of the engine, the bullet engine, and because we just pulled anything from the library and it's just somehow worked. That's the problem here. Like I don't fully understand the impact I had, or what mechanism. I know TCP/IP was something I understood for sure, but the rest of them, like the engine and stuff like that, ooh, it's still a big mystery to me.
Yeah. So definitely find a way to upsell that experience. I think this is just probably like the CSE 110 class.
Yeah, Voker, yeah. Not
Yeah.
110,
Okay.
but the Voker's class, yeah.
Okay. Either way, I'm gonna say try to upsell that experience a little bit more. I think game experiences are one of the few experiences where it's automatically assumed that the person has a very high level of competency, especially if they worked on the engine. I guarantee you,
Yeah.
anyone who's worked on a game engine is automatically a senior developer at a top tier tech company, just because the sheer amount, just the high bar it takes to write a good engine.
Gotcha.
But overall, I'm gonna say that your resume just needs to have that oomph. Like, it reads right now more like a if you know, you're familiar with the Google levels, right?
Like L2, L3, stuff like that.
L3, L4, L5.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yours reads between an L3 and an L4, and I'm getting a little L4 vibes just because of what you put in the Teradata,
Yeah.
where you have that leadership experience. Most people,
Yeah, yeah.
they're L3, they're not given that at all, so they might be getting your feet wet with that.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, but combined with the coding interview, I'd put you at a low L3 even.
Yeah, and I think, yes, I have experience. It's been a while, but I feel like if I were to move up to companies like Uber, Google, and stuff like that, I need to start from the bottom, man. I don't
Yep.
think I'll be able to handle like mid-level, even mid-level software engineer, especially the companies in Silicon Valley, you know. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I'm not competent enough yet to claim that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's good that you're humble like that. So let me do this. I'll share with you the resume, and then we can do like
Yeah.
some Q&A and
Yeah.
after, okay?
Okay, perfect. So for resume, just to summarize what we discussed, the questions I want to ask is, okay, what kind of story do I want to tell to the interviewer slash recruiter? Each
Mm-hmm.
item, maybe I should ask, you know, why should they care, or why should I care about this specific, you know, sentence,
Mm-hmm.
and
Exactly.
try to show what kind of impact I had, me personally, not as the general. Like, don't keep it too vague. Be specific, right?
Yep, like
Is that
show me why I should care about you as a developer because I have a bunch of other people. Like from the perspective of the company, I have a bunch of
uh-huh.
other people that I need to look at the resumes at. Why should I give
Yeah.
my time to you? Why should I pass your resume off to the what's it called? To the team leads and say, "Hey, this is someone you're interested in," versus the next guy.
Yeah.
Like most people end up having the problem where they don't know what their impact is, and they don't
Yeah.
really stylize their resume like that. They usually end up with this problem of not knowing what their results are,
Yeah.
and because of that, it ends up being kind of I have to consistently remind them of action, what it is, and what's the result. You don't have
Yeah.
that problem because you've already gone through the resume cycle, and all it really is just showing some impact and oomph that makes you appear better. And
Mm.
so, if you appear better,
Yeah.
then you get more chances. That's essentially what it is. After that, once you get the opportunity, the rest is on you to deliver and do well in these coding interviews.